Well, hey, everybody. Happy Monday night. Excited to just spend time in community and connection with each one of you. So glad that you're here, that you made the decision to show up from vacation if you're Frank and Shauna. But regardless, we know that you made a decision when you decided to show up tonight, and we are expectant about what is to come with our time together. So the topic tonight is rewriting your story. But before we do that, we wanted to let you know about a couple of really exciting things that are going on. The first thing we wanted to let you know about is Susan Palace is leading the client call tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern. So the call right after this one, you will want to be on. It is going to be on ultra health. And I don't know about you, I can't think of a better person to talk on that except for Susan Palace. And also wanted to let you know that September 9th, so coming up in just a couple of weeks, we've got a virtual coaching summit. It's actually a virtual leadership summit. It's at 11 o'clock Eastern, so a little bit later start. But here's what you need to know. This is an event designed for your clients. It's also designed for your friends that love leadership, love personal development. Think like, all of your friends who are leaders in other businesses or maybe just leaders in their life. Invite them. We are really encouraging people to have small watch parties. So maybe think about having some people in your home or at a local coffee shop, and certainly talk to your mentorship team about that, because we just want as many people as possible to be there. So tonight is all about talking about you and your story. And so we would just encourage you tonight to be sensitive to what you might be being called to do next, and utilize the chat feature. Blow up the chat. That would be incredible. And we are going to play a video from David Bush here in just a second. And this was it was played on our national director call a couple of weeks ago. And when I was listening, I was at the bus stop and I stopped everything I was doing because I felt so convicted about what he said. There's several different parts. I'm actually going to start on the second part of what he's sharing. So he first challenges us to know that we've got the pen in our hand. We get to decide the story that we are going to write about our lives. So wherever you are, just know that it's never too late to write the next chapter, to keep going. So I wanted to just encourage you, and we can share the recording for those of you that want more notes of what David was talking about. But in the interest of time, we're going to just show you a small snippet. So use the chat feature because he's got some really great wisdom, and we'll go.
You can actually deliver that service at no cost. And you could attract those types of people. You could also attract the kind of people that want to lose weight and meet them where they're at and graduate them. But we've been playing in this weight loss space for way too long. And so changing your story, and Paula Martino, she had a question in there. So for a coach that has successfully navigated and kept their weight off for 17 years, how would you suggest I tell her new story? So Terry, can I take a moment and just kind of rephrase that story, because I know Paula?
100%.
Yeah, so I don't know all of Paula's characteristics and what was the pain and the problem before she got started, but just using very simple concepts about pain that comes with losing weight, because that's what she said she did. So Paula, this would be kind of a version of how I would retell your story and then adjust the variables to fit your particular situation. So 17 years ago, I was in a very unhealthy spot. I was struggling with being overweight. I lacked energy. I was struggling with sleeping, and I just was really in a bad spot. I had slowed my metabolism down as I aged. I was not exercising. I wasn't being very active. And I saw a picture of myself, and I just literally just could not handle how I had allowed myself to put on the weight and to become this inactive person that just didn't feel like the best version of myself. And I was introduced to this healthy lifestyle program by a really good friend of mine who I really trusted and respected. And they had transformed their health with this program. And so I became interested in it. And once I learned about the comprehensive nature of the program and how it was a complete program where you could create optimal health and well-being one healthy habit at a time. And you got a coach, you had a lifestyle program, you had a community of support, and you had a simple strategy to kick off a weight loss strategy, but also learn how to maintain a healthy weight and achieve optimal health. So I jumped in. I tried the program 17 years ago, and I lost 45 pounds 17 years ago. And since then, I have moved from being a dieter and a weight loser to a creator of optimal health and well-being. Over the last 17 years, I've incorporated new healthy lifestyle habits. I've found new goals to pursue, new opportunities to improve well-being. And I realized how much well-being had affected my eating habits and my exercise habits. And I am in so much love with this program and this process that I did so well on it that they actually asked me to become a coach. And 17 years later, I've not only radically transformed my health and maintained a healthy weight, but I've begun to improve overall well-being. And get this, I have coached over 1,532 people to do the same thing. I've been sharing this story with other people because I'm so stinking excited about it. Would you be interested in learning a little bit more about what I do? I'd love to tell you a little bit more about it. So that's kind of a version of a story that, again, maybe when you heard it, you had some wow factor. And I don't know about you, but after doing this business for quite a few years, many of you have been doing it for quite a few years, you've lost your wow factor. When you say when you say your story, you should be able to say your story with a banana sideways in your mouth. Like your smile should be so excited, because if you don't have any wow factor and that's worn off, you don't have a transfer of enthusiasm to inspire other people to want to know more about what you're doing. You're just telling them the details rather than inspiring them with your facial features and your tone of voice and your expression towards passion for health and well-being in your life. So that's how rephrasing, repurposing your story and bringing some new life to it. And again, play with this thing. Your story is your money maker. It's the most highest leverage activity you have. And if it's dusty and worn down and not working well, how many of you want to go out there and saw down a tree with a dull saw? That's not going to be fun. So spend a little time rewriting your story, practicing your story. And then if you want, Terry, we can talk a little bit more about identifying the different pools of candidates and contacts.
All right, that was pretty powerful, wasn't it? Yeah, can I get an amen? Coaching for 12 years, I can tell you my story is a little stale. So working through this and hearing it the way that David said it, I hope it resonates with you how the message is supposed to. And he gave a great example. This interview was also played, I think it was in the second week of the Saturday training that they're doing. And you can listen to the entire thing. But one of the things he described was maybe you're a person that has lost their weight and gained it back. So thank you. It was in week 2. And your story can actually be, I've done this program and I've learned how to do it in a not so great way. And now I'm reliving the story and I am incorporating the tools, so it is all okay no matter where you are. So thanks for showing up on this call. And I hope it gets your wheels turning to what's next for you. So we're going to have a couple of stories tonight from different coaches in different stages of the journey. And what does rewriting their story look like? And one person you've heard from before, but I thought it'd be great to have her come back and do an update quickly, is Carol Telesalo. So Carol has been a coach with us for a long time. Carol, if you want to unmute yourself and say, hey.
Hello there.
Hi, Carol. She, with hesitation, Carol said, yeah, she'd come on and talk. So I love her being willing to share her story and be vulnerable to help somebody else move forward. But Carol, can you kind of catch us up for kind of where were you a couple of months ago in your health and where are you now? So we can kind of get a context of what's been going on with you.
Sure. Well, just most of y'all know I started back in like 2017 and I stuck to it for like a year and a half, never broke off of it. One of those all or nothing, and lost 68 pounds and was doing great. And then life hit, COVID and breaking my ankle and stuff. But to be honest, actually listening to David Bush Saturday, it just really hit. I just was very disgusted with myself because I ended up using excuses of COVID and my ankle I mean, those did hit, but I didn't have to go off like I did. I ended up gaining 35 of my 68 pounds back, so more than half. And I was very ashamed. So that's where I was, and I was just pretty much lost. I kept wanting to get back, and I just wasn't doing it. I lost connections. I mean, obviously that was part of COVID and stuff, and I didn't have a job. And then when I did, it was with a man that I worked in his house, and it was just me. So I was caught there for 8 hours a day, and then go home and I'm worn out. So I gradually just kept getting off plan, and even my coaching, I was maintaining for a while. And then, when you maintain, you end up losing because you're not gaining. So I started spiraling down and feeling about myself as on my health journey, wondering if I could get back, and also as coaching. So I just was doubting myself in the journey and pretty much lost hope. Dee knows that. She was trying to help me, and I wanted to get help, but I wasn't sure what to do. So I just couldn't see my future and not sure what I wanted. So that's where I was.
So you've made a lot of progress, right? Since you've been back on track. It hasn't been perfect, but where are you now and where do you want to go? And then kind of knowing your challenges, what do you need to do now to get there to what it is that you want?
Okay. Like I said, I'd just gotten disgusted and worn out. Well, I finally hit that point where I decided, okay, I got to do something. I'm miserable and I want to get back to where I was. So at that point, one thing that really helped me was just I kept going to the events. I kept doing Zooms with Dee twice a week. I mean, every 2 weeks. I didn't do it every week because I didn't want to, take her time when I knew I was wading in the water. So, but I decided, what am I willing to do? And so the big thing for me was, challenges. There was a challenge, and it happened to hit when I was just disgusted and, okay, we are just going to stick to it and see what happens. And I did. I've lost 15 of that 35 back, so I got 20 more to go. And as far as the coaching, I'm focusing on what can I do right now. And so I'm doing the Love, Serve, Grow because that resonates with me. But my main thing is I'm just trying to do conversations and just trying to serve people online. Right now, it's not even having health assessments or stuff like that because I'm just not there. My warm market is gone. So it's just trying to start up conversations and just trying to be there for other people at this point.
Thank you, Carol. One of the questions was, as we're wrapping up, like, what was your what was it that gave you that motivation to finally start? Because you were like limping, and that's where a lot of people were. Was it just that the pain point got strong enough?
It was the pain point got strong enough. Because, to be honest, I still, as far as where do I want to go and what do I need to do, I'm still trying to figure that out. Because, to be honest, I still can't see my future. So actually, something that you mentioned a couple of weeks ago, the dreaming and creating, I don't know how to do that. So you recommended the Artist Way. So I did get the audio book for that, and I'm looking forward to starting to do the main thing that you mentioned of just 3 pages of writing and just starting to get stuff out. So I had a post today about scheduling and stuff, and so I've got in there about doing that first thing in the morning. So hopefully I can start doing that. So I'm trying to use an accountability with you. The other big thing I did was when I decided I'm going to do it and what am I willing to do, I started sending you my weight every morning, and that helped get accountability and to do it. And then also to celebrate my wins, no matter how small they were. No matter what, if I was falling off, okay, I did the water well. Okay, I walked. Okay. And that gave me momentum. And then as I started seeing some of the weight starting to come off again, it's amazing what a motivator that is.
Yeah.
To keep doing it and not try to fall off again.
Good. So many pure wisdom, things that are in there, but just staying connected. She's coachable. right? She said, I can't get my brain going. I can't think. And so I just happened to know about something called the Artist Way. If you are one of those people, a friend of mine had gone through a process, and it just gets the creative juices going. You start writing. But she's coachable and she does it. So if that would be a big message, I would say as well. So yeah, let's move on. We've got a lot to share tonight. Thank you, Carol.
Thank you.
Well, next we're going to hear from our friend Lauren, and I don't want to take any time from Lauren because she has such a heart and such a story. So Lauren, I know right now you're in the middle of rewriting your story. Your pen is in your hand. You're writing feverishly. Share with us a little bit about what that journey has been like, and where you've been and what you're excited about going forward.
Yeah, thanks. And thanks so much, Carol, for sharing and being so vulnerable. I love you. So I've been coaching for 5.5 years. And in that time, I initially lost 70 pounds. And then I had 6 months of keeping it off. And then I got pregnant and then had, my second baby. And then life happened, and I've had a lot of really hard things happen in my world in the last few years. And it's been a roller coaster, and it's been up and down and sideways and inside out. And there's definitely been a lot of shame in this season, and a lot of trying to figure out, well, what is my story now? And what do I want my story to be? And, trying to figure out how to show up in the midst of it. And truthfully, I watched that whole recording with Dave Bush and Terry, and it was just such a wake-up call for me of, hey, I get to decide what's next, and I think I've been in a little bit of the shame cycle personally in my own health journey, where that 5-in-1-ish state for a while. And, it's I just realized, okay, I have to make a decision. I have to be willing to change some things and be willing to show up and be willing to be vulnerable, even with my coaches of where I am, and even stepping on the scale. Truthfully, I hadn't stepped on the scale in a little while because I was afraid of what it would say. And so last Monday I stepped on the scale and honestly was not happy with what I saw. And I cried a lot. And thankfully I had a call with Paul Blanchard the next day, and I had a call with Meg that day, and I said, hey, I'm ready. I need to go all in and I want to do this. I had a call with Paul the next day, and he was just like, hey, you don't have to do 5-in-1. What do you want to do? And I think him giving me permission not to made me realize I actually really do want to. I want to do this. And so anyways, I'm 1 weekend of imperfect progress, but I'm down 4 pounds in this last week. My energy's up. I'm doing EAAs. And I'm honestly just in this space of truly being excited for what lies ahead. And I want to be authentic and show up genuinely in this stage. And so I'm going to be posting weekly updates on my page. I'm going to be texting Meg my weight weekly. But honestly, also when I'm doing my weight, I'm also recording some affirmations. So I am capable, I am worthy, I am enough. And so just want to say a few things. Just remember that this is a journey. It's not a destination. And to keep it fresh, decide what do you what are you working on currently in your life, in your journey? Stop the shame game, show up in your current reality, and be authentic and genuine. That is what people will connect with. And you don't have to share the exact details of what's going on in your world. I know many of us are going through some really hard seasons. We don't have to share the exact details of that, but we can share what we're learning through the process and how we're overcoming. And just to be real and get excited about the active line. Decide, how can you incorporate this? How can you share about this? What is the next level up from where you are currently? So hope that's helpful.
Oh, Lauren, so helpful, so good. And I think I could speak for everyone on this Zoom. We cannot wait to see this next chapter for you. You are resilient and you are a contender, and you too, Carol. And we can't wait to be there with you to celebrate. Next, we're going to move on to Emily. So Emily is just a little firecracker, and she's kind of having a hard day today. So we got to give her some love. But I was talking to Emily this morning, and y'all, she's lost 61 pounds on her journey. And she was telling me she's running a 5K every day. Y'all, that's over 3 miles every day. Bring on that Optavia Active. She's taking that active every single day. But we were reflecting on just how big her transformation has been and what has changed in her life. And so, Emily, will you share with us how you are rewriting your story and what that's been like?
Yes. Okay, I might cry today. Y'all probably think I'm all over the place. Sometimes I'm excited and sometimes I'm crying, but so Meg and I were talking and
You're muted.
okay, sorry, I was looking at my face and I don't like that. So yeah, I started running and like that's changed, which is great. And I was telling her how I lost 2 pounds and like this past week I was in Miami and then I was camping with my daughter and I'm thinking like, how did I even lose? But it's probably the running. And she was like, well, can you just tell me what's changed for you since you started program? And I mean, everything has changed since I've started program. And it's kind of overwhelming. And, you know, anyone who's like really submitted to this process of Optavia knows that you can drastically improve your self-worth. You can improve your body. You can improve your finances, all of that. And it's just kind of crazy to see how far I've come. And the thing that kind of hit me this morning when I was talking to Meg is how I really like myself now. And I had lost me for so long and I had forgotten how much I liked me. And I think most of the people in my world, like my friends, you know, they would always build me up, but I don't think I was open to receive it the way that this community has kind of taught me to receive it and just kind of like know my worth and know that I'm awesome. And I'm kind of having this struggle today, learning how to know my worth, but also holding other people accountable to treating me the way that I know I should be treated. And so that's such a struggle for me. But I just know the impact that this program can have on all of us. And so, yeah, I will say, I don't even know what I was supposed to talk about. I think I was supposed to talk about running, and I have been running a lot and it feels good. And I'm doing it mostly for stress relief, but I love the active. And anyone who's tried it and maybe not tried it again. The first time I had it, I thought it was disgusting. I'm not going to lie. And now I look forward to it every day. I think it tastes way better. Corey said, make your water really cold and then do a little extra water and it really changes it and makes it really good. So I don't know if that's helpful to anyone, but I'm just saying it's really changed my life. And I just appreciate all of you and for showing me like the mirror that I really needed to see and that I'm worthy and all that. So thank you all.
Emily, that's so good. You are radiating, and just thank you for being vulnerable, for being here, and for inspiring us all. It is so cool to watch you write this story and to realize things about you that you've never realized before. And that's what's possible, y'all. When we show up, even if you feel like your story is stale, like I'm just going to challenge you, rewrite that story. Have that sideways banana in your mouth because you are smiling so big. Borrow somebody else's enthusiasm because you never know what is going to happen for the other person on the other side of the computer screen, on the other side of the brunch table, on the other side of that phone. So what we do really matters, because if Emily didn't know about this plan, her life would not get to look like the way that it does now. Next, we're going to talk to Robin. And Robin, man, Robin, I love alliteration. I call her Ripped Robin because she's just ripped. And it's been so cool to see her life and how she came in and she is going for ultra health. She is bringing in people that just want to up level their own health. They already look healthy. And so just really wanted to hear, Robin, your story about how you came in just for a little bit of health, a little bit of weight loss, and you got so much more in so many ways. Would you share with us?
Yeah, thanks, Meg. So So Meg knows how to take me out of my comfort zone because she asked me not too long ago, "Hey, will you get on a call tonight and just talk?" And I'm like, "Okay, sure." I will talk off the cuff from the heart, which I think is one of the biggest take homes that I've been cultivating since coming on program, right? It's just this notion of being true to me and speaking from the heart and not always having notes in front of me, even though, of course, I have notes in front of me. But I think for me, one of the things when I think back to when I felt most like myself, like most comfortable in my own skin and my own body, it was a really long time ago. It was when, like, during my younger years, right? When I think back to my teenage, early 20s, I was carefree, I was confident, I was self assured, I knew what I wanted. I gravitated towards service. I took the road less traveled, right? And it felt really great. And then over time, that just got lost. And I think what happened is, I'm reading Jamil Frazier's 12 shifts right now. And at the very beginning, it talks about the clay and the Buddha. It's covered in clay. And I'm like, that was me. That was me. I felt like over the years, it was sort of like, I was covered in dust and clay, and the essence of me was covered up, right? And I kind of gravitated further and further away from who I was, but I didn't know that that was what was happening. I strived to achieve. I worked hard at the things I thought would deem me successful. I became an emotional consumer, which was reflected in my food choices, my alcohol consumption, my overspending, my choice in partners, right? These things that were not filling me up, even though I thought they were supposed to. So essentially, I was writing a story that was focused on what I thought I was supposed to do or what I thought my life was supposed to look like. And ultimately, what I came to realize was that all of it felt off. And so historically, I have always been very active. I've prioritized, working out and exercise and tried to eat right. And I'm, of course, I'm in therapy. I've been in therapy for a long time, but everything felt like it was in silos, right? And so then when I came on program, I was like, I don't even know what I'm saying yes to, but why not? And I came in, I didn't have a weight loss goal per se. I couldn't give Meg and Stephanie a number because I hate the scale anyway. It doesn't tell the whole story, right? It often derails me mentally. So I was like, I don't know. I just want to feel better. I just want to feel comfortable in my own skin. And ultimately, as I have leaned into all 4 components of the program, I feel like I've gotten my light back, and I never even imagined or realized how dimmed it was. And so it's been an inward transformation that I feel like is radiating outward. And that's been, I think, a really amazing and beautiful and unexpected thing. And what has come from that is I said, sure, I'll lean into coaching because I just want to hold myself accountable first and foremost. But then that ultimately turned into, wow, like I can maybe be a catalyst to help other people, or wow, other people want to help other people. It's just been, the domino effect has been amazing. But I've also learned that as Emily said, I'm worthy and I'm lovable and I am deeply loved and accepted, which was not always something I was able to cultivate for myself. And so I have just so much gratitude for what this community has brought to me and continues to bring to me. And I've done things that I never thought I would ever do, like a sprint triathlon. I don't know, Siada and I talked about that last October, and I'm like, sure, I'll do a sprint triathlon. But then I really did. And so just like seeing that we can be brave to do the things that we maybe are afraid to do because fear is what we feel and brave is what we do. And so really just trying to lean into saying yes when opportunities present themselves and just leaning in and seeing where the path leads. And ultimately I don't know, it's been really amazing, to be honest. So
thank you, Robin. Wow. Thank you to everybody who shared. So inspiring and just an example. Do you ever feel this way, you guys? Like if you could just shout to the world, like if you knew what I knew, you would do what I do, right? Whether it's the program, coaching, anything. But this is our chance. As David said in the video, your story is your moneymaker. Your journey with Optavia is the fundamentals and the foundation you are representing, right? So this is our chance. So kind of 3 things I'm going to ask you right now that we're going to challenge you with is we've got Optavia Active coming in. This is huge, you guys. I think of it as huge is because it's really challenged us. It's put a mirror up to each one of us to kind of take a look and like, okay, where am I? How am I showing up in the world, right? Before we can roll out to the world. So we're going to spend, we know there's lots of trainings going on. We also know that some of us are shutting down from all the trainings going on. So we're going to dedicate next week's call to Optavia Active. I think I might even start a thread where you guys can ask some questions for us. But we really want to get on solid footing for this. But before we get there, we're going to challenge you to do 2 things. Number 1, identify where you are and what is the next chapter of your story. And you're going to text that to your coach. So some ideas are this. We want to change the thinking from I got to get back to, if your goal is to reach a healthy weight again, then your next chapter is you are mastering the fundamentals of reaching a healthy weight. Right? Let's get back into creation versus a shame penalty cycle of getting back to something. It's gone. We're moving forward. So maybe it's your healthy weight, or maybe you're just starting to incorporate motion. Maybe you're going to get out of the 5-in-1 prison, actually go through transition and into an optimization stage and start to incorporate motion. Or maybe you're like Robin or some of us others on the call that are going to move into ultra health. But define that story, text it to your coach. And then within 24 hours, we want you to declare it publicly on social media where you are. So whether it's a written post or a live, but just as you connected to these stories, other people are going to connect to yours. So that's what we've got for you tonight. Thank you so much for investing in yourself, being here, being the best that you can for others. Let's hop over and see Susan Pallas speak about longevity, which is what we are all about. So we love you guys. See ya.